I
100%.
told you about the never miss analogy? I've more recently come up with something. More recently, as in maybe like 8, 10 months or something like that. Basically, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's an analogy that legitimately never misses. And it's a thing, have you heard before where like if you recall a memory, your brain basically just treats it as if it's happening right now. And same thing with visualization, right? If you visualize something in the future, you just like sit down and visualize it, your brain chemically treats it as if it's happening right now. So like
Yeah,
if you're imagining good feelings in the future, your brain creates good chemicals in the present.
correct.
If you imagine a trauma that you had in the past and relive it, it creates those negative chemicals in the present. So what I've done as well as so that's principle number one. Principle number two is obviously like rule number one in sales is whatever I say is garbage, whatever prospect says is gospel, right? So any
Hmm.
sort of like reframes or stuff that I say, garbage. But if they can say the reframe, it's
Hmm.
gospel.
Hmm.
So I was like, okay, how do I make sure that we do those? And then the third principle is if somebody has already made the right decision before, this
Hmm.
one feels easy. Versus if
Hmm.
they view this as a new decision that they've never made before, it can be scary, right?
Hmm.
So I was like, okay, how do we use all this? What can we create? So basically, the analogy is just it goes like this. Has there ever been a time in your life, maybe when you were a kid, maybe last week, maybe last year, when blank? And in that blank, you insert whatever the principle is that they're stuck on. So, like if this guy, for example, is just overthinking and he knows he's
Yeah.
in this, has there ever been a time in your life, maybe when you were a kid, when you really wanted something, but you were just so in your head about it that it stopped you from actually moving forward with it?
Hmm.
Has there ever been a
Hmm.
time like that? So you can
Hmm.
do the negative like that, or you can say, has there ever been a time in the past, maybe when you were a kid, when you were in your head, you knew it, you really wanted to get somewhere, and so you said, you know what, just fuck it, and you just went forward with it anyway. And ultimately, second part
Hmm.
of this is you state the outcome you want them to recall. So like,
Hmm.
if you're not careful, you might have them recall sometime in the past where they were not proud of what they did, where
Hmm.
they pushed through that, but then it turned out badly.
Yeah.
So you have to also add in the ending bit you want them to have, which is, and it worked out, and looking back, you're glad you did it. Or vice versa, and looking back, you wished, like you wish you could go back and change it.
Yeah,
So then
exactly.
they recall a memory where they did exactly this decision. Those chemicals are brought into the present, and like they're saying it because then you get them to recall, let's say, a classic one. It's like, has there ever been a time in the past, maybe when you're a kid, when you were afraid to do something because it was the first time, you just never done it before, but you knew you really wanted to. And so you did, you pushed through that fear, and ultimately looking back, you're super glad you did. What was that? And then they're like, oh yeah, when I kissed my now wife for the first time as a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, okay, what happened? How old were you? Were you at
Yeah.
her house? Were you at your house?
And
Like, did
all
you go
things
for
start
her?
in their head. Yeah.
Exactly. And then there's two questions that I always ask at the end of it, which is number one, what did you learn from that experience? Which is the reframe. So now they're
Mhm.
telling me the reframe. They're like, I learned that even if I'm a little bit afraid to do it, I should just fucking do it. And like, that's okay. And then the second question is, if you could go back and do it again, would you? So now they're literally saying, if they could go back and do it again, right now, do it
Which is
again.
right now. Yep. Yep. Yep.
And so then they say
So
yes. And then I'm just like, okay, so what do you want to do? Like, fuck.
exactly. And it's like, oh yeah, he just cooked. The
Yeah.
thing that you're saying here, it's so effective because I do that. And
Uh-huh.
who I found it most effective on is business owners, and especially guys that are successful.
Uh-huh.
And as you know, I'm on a trading offer where people are coming with a lot of money and a
Yeah.
crap ton of skepticism and
Go back to
patterns,
grind
etc.
days.
Exactly. And literally what I do whenever one of these guys, when it's not trust, when it's none of those, when it's literally just that fear and overthinking, every single time I just tell them, hey, when you were starting your business, were there challenges? Were there tough decisions? Were there
Yeah.
places which you had to overcome something? Right?
Yeah.
And then tying it back into the sale. What I love what you said is what I never did before. If you could do it again, would you? That's a
Yeah.
that's a fire way to tie it back into everything. I haven't done that one before, I can tell you.
Yeah. If you could go
Listen.
back and do it again, would you?